I tell you, you do a podcast and out come the haters. Oh, what do you have to say about your Pittsburgh Steelers now, comparison group guy? I say our starting quarterback got hurt. That's what I say. And this worthless bum of a backup, Mitchell Trubisky, he must look great in warm-ups.
Turn my music, ha, 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 yeah.
Yeah, Mitchell Trubisky, he must look great in warm-ups before the game. I can't imagine why else they'd put him out there on the field. He's horrible. What's the use? Welcome to the Comparison Group Podcast. Today is December 12th, 2023.
Turn my music.
This is not a sports show. I shouldn't even say it's a politics show or a news show. No, it's an information show. It's an information show. I'll put the information out there. I'll put it out there. You take it or you leave it. You agree or you disagree. It's all about discussion, not debate. So who's left running for president? Who would I vote for if the election was held today? Today. And what's my solutions, ideas, and suggestions for people struggling over who to vote for? Come on, let's start the show and we'll discuss.
Turn my music.
Not going to discuss those doggone Pittsburgh Steelers no more. You need to go, Mike Tomlin. Your time is up, Mike Tomlin. Let's start with who's running for president on the Democratic side. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just give you a bunch of information from Ballotpedia. Ballotpedia, I think it's how they pronounce it. And I'll put a link to this source in the description, and then I'll give you my thoughts on a few candidates. I'm not going to read every name and stop and give you my thoughts. I'll just give you a whole bunch of names, a whole bunch of information, but I'm not going to waste my time or yours discussing people who have no shot of becoming president. At least they don't appear to have a shot right now. So I'm going to give you what are considered legitimate candidates on the Democratic side. That means that they're raising money, they're getting some media attention, they have some sort of a showing in the polls, so they're considered legitimate by this organization, Ballotpedia, however the heck they say it. Number one, Joe Biden, the current president of the United States. Number two, Dean Phillips, U.S. Representative from Minnesota. Marianne Williamson, she's an author of 15 books, 4 of which have become New York Times bestsellers. I can't tell if they're romance novels or self-help books. I don't know. But those are the 3 quote-unquote legitimate candidates. You got another candidate, Cenk Uygur, I think you pronounce his name, Cenk Uygur, a media commentator and founder of Young Turks, which is a pretty liberal, pretty progressive YouTube channel, website, I don't know. But we don't even know if he's a U.S. citizen. So, ignore him until you figure out whether or not he can actually even run for president. And then you got some third party or independents that I think lean Democratic, which would be Robert F. Kennedy. He was running as a Democrat, but switched to run as an independent. The craziest thing about him, I just found out, he's married to the actress Cheryl Hines. She's an actress that played Larry David's wife on Curb Your Enthusiasm. I like her. Very pretty woman. I don't know how he got her. But you got Robert F. Kennedy. You got Jill Stein of the Green Party. You remember her. She helped to screw up the election for Hillary back in 2016. And you got Dr. Cornel West, an independent described as a philosopher and activist. Okay. That's what you got. On the Democratic side, left-leaning, liberal, progressive, whatever you want to call it, that's what you got. The Republican candidate is still running and considered quote-unquote legitimate, Donald Trump. I'll just describe him as the former president. Ryan Binkley, a businessman, pastor, I forget where he's from. Chris Christie, the overweight former governor of New Jersey. Ron DeSantis, governor of Florida. Nikki Haley, former UN ambassador and governor of South Carolina. Asa Hutchinson, former governor of Arkansas. And Vivek Ramaswamy, entrepreneur. Those are your, I believe, 7 legitimate, quote unquote, legitimate Republican candidates still running. Notable Republicans who have withdrawn from the race, gotten out already. Doug Burgum, governor of North Dakota. Larry Elder, talk show radio host. Will Hurd, former U.S. representative from Texas. Mike Pence. Tim Scott. Francis Suarez, mayor of Miami. He announced in June and suspended in August. That didn't take long. And you got one independent that maybe leans right, running as a libertarian. His name is Chase Oliver. Okay? And then lastly, some interesting possibilities still out there. Maybe still have time to jump in. They're the names bandied about when the streets are talking. They would be Stacey Abrams, Eric Adams, mayor of New York, Cory Booker, Sherrod Brown, senator from Ohio, a Democrat, Pete Buttigieg, transportation secretary, Hillary, Andrew Cuomo, Joe Manchin, Gavin Newsom, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and Alexandria. I'd rather have a war on Christmas than a war on Hamas, Ocasio-Cortez. Those are the names that get thrown around out there that, hey, maybe they should run for president, or hey, maybe they will run for president. Who knows? I'm going to focus on Nikki Haley, Dean Phillips, Ron DeSantis, Joe Biden, and Donald Trump. That's it. We got time. If others emerge in the future, I can discuss them. Right now, I'll focus on those 5. First, Dean Phillips, running on the Democratic ticket. Let's give a listen.
So in Congress, you've been a really consistent supporter of President Biden's agenda. So if you get to the White House and replace him, what are you going to do differently on policy?
Well, let me start by acknowledging something you just said. The story of America is overcoming tough forces aligned against us. And indeed, that's what this campaign is entirely about. And I know the exhausted majority of Americans know this. And when I'm president, well, first of all, why am I running? Because Joe Biden is going to lose to Donald Trump. And I think most Americans recognize the tragedy, the danger of Donald Trump. Now, what will I do differently? First of all, I'm listening. That's why I'm here in New Hampshire almost every day until January 23rd, listening to people. And if more people in Washington, D.C. would get out, spend time with Granite Staters, you would hear the same thing. Life is unaffordable. So my focus right now is affordability, housing, education, healthcare, groceries, heating oil. People are really suffering.
We'll delve into some of those issues in a moment, but you haven't shied away from the age issue here. Do you believe President Biden is in any kind of age-related cognitive decline?
I wouldn't say he's in cognitive decline. Everybody in America can see what's going on. I think it's healthy for the United States to have men in their 80s as president. No, I don't. And by the way, it's not just me. It's about 75% of the country. So it is not my job to opine. What I'm saying is that Americans have made it clear they do not want either of these candidates as president. I'm glad to see the GOP having a healthy debate, many of the candidates right here in New Hampshire. And I wish President Biden would be here, too. I wish he would debate. I wish he would make his case for the future, not just for the past. And that's what I'm trying to express upon people, is if we let the two-party system, by the way, which is tragic, I have to say George Washington warned us about this. He warned us against factions when he wrote his farewell address over 200 years ago. And the truth is, I was part of this problem. I enabled this two-party system because I believe in the Democratic Party. I'm a proud Democrat. If I wasn't, I'd be running as an independent. I want to salvage the basis of the principles of this party.
So I'll stop it there real quick. He's a little bit all over the place in some respects because he loves Biden, big supporter of Biden, but doesn't think Biden can beat Trump, doesn't think Biden can do the job. He says the two-party system is tragic, but he doesn't want to run as an independent. He believes in the Democratic Party. So a little bit all over the place, but at the same time, I like it when he talks about how we should have an open debate on the Democratic side. People should be able to challenge Joe Biden and bring their ideas, and he should bring his ideas, as he said, for the future. Don't tell us what you did in the past, Joe. All well and good. Tell us your ideas for the future. I think I cut it out of the clip, and I don't know if you're aware of it, but Florida, the Democratic Party in Florida, just decided they're not going to have a primary. They're just not going to have it. They're just going to award the the primary win to Joe Biden. I don't like that. I don't like that at all, particularly for a party who's been screaming about attacks on democracy and saving the democracy and saving our institutions. How do you just have a state that has 200 electoral votes in a primary, just hand those 200 votes to Joe Biden? I don't like that. So he talks about that not being right and about the fact that he should be able to get on a stage and debate Joe Biden as well as all these other candidates that are running in the primary against Joe Biden. So I like when he brought that topic up because he's right. It doesn't have to be Democrats attacking Democrats. It can be honest, open, intelligent discussion about differences in the party, a diverse party, a big tent party. That's all. So that's it. If I tried to go through every policy position of all these people, the show would be 5 hours long. So I'll let you hear them a little bit, let you hear them talk a little bit on some issues, and then we'll move on. All right? And we'll discuss some more. So let's move on to Nikki Haley. All right? Take a listen. Nikki Haley, 51 years old, former governor of South Carolina. I saw her in a debate, and Jake Tapper, not a debate, town hall. Jake Tapper asked her, does she prefer to be called former governor or ambassador, former U.S. ambassador? And she said, call me former governor. I think she's trying to wants people to forget that whole ambassador under Trump thing. But I thought that was interesting. So former governor of South Carolina, if you go to NikkiHaley.com, it's basically about donating money. She doesn't give a lot of information about her positions, which probably par for the course for any candidate. But she says she was a great job creator. She said she held politicians accountable, signing a bill that puts votes on the record. Nikki also championed and signed an ethics reform package that created an ethics commission to investigate legislators for misconduct. On abortion, she signed many important pieces of legislation, including Born Alive Infant Protection Act and Pain-Capable Unborn Child Protection Act, outlining abortion at 20 weeks. So that's her threshold. It would appear outlawing abortion at 20 weeks. I believe DeSantis is at 6 weeks. Cracking down on illegal immigration. She signed one of the toughest immigration laws in the country, giving law enforcement more power to check whether people are illegal immigrants. Protecting our elections. Nikki is a vocal advocate for voter ID and signed a voter ID bill into law early in her first term as governor. As governor, Nikki successfully pushed for education reform that focused on improving education for South Carolina's poorest students. She also signed a charter school bill that expanded school choice and signed a bill eliminating the federal government's Common Core standards. I hate that Common Core. Nikki rejected Obamacare's Medicaid expansion. Nikki repeatedly told them to take a hike when it came to Obamacare. She rejected Obamacare's Medicaid expansion. I wonder if South Carolina has expanded Medicaid yet to this date. So she rejected that Medicaid money. She joined other states in suing Obama's EPA over heavy-handed regulatory burdens and defended South Carolina's tough illegal immigration laws from D.C. meddling. Defending our Second Amendment rights, she signed a bill that repealed many of the state's outdated anti-gun laws. She signed reciprocity legislation with Georgia, expanded concealed carry rights to bars and restaurants, and backed the Constitutional Carry Act that would have eliminated the state's permitting and training requirements for gun owners. Backed the Constitutional Carry Act that would have eliminated the state's permitting and training requirements for gun owners. I don't know why we don't want gun owners to be permitted or trained, but okay. When a police officer shot an unarmed black man during a routine traffic stop, Nikki turned people's grief into action, signing the first body camera bill for law enforcement in the country. Nikki has long been a strong defender of Israel. As governor, she signed the first anti-BDS legislation in the country. As UN ambassador, she declared a new day for Israel at the United Nations and vowed that the days of Israel bashing are over. She was for repealing the deal with Iran, advocating for human rights. Nikki negotiated a groundbreaking arms embargo on South Sudan, getting tough on China, sanctioning North Korea, getting tough on Russia, blah, 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 blah. So that's Nikki Haley from her website. So generally, I think what politicians put on their website, you take with a grain of salt. So that just gives you some information. It is a bit of a record of what she has done, what she is for, bills that she signed as governor. Let's give a listen to what she says.
When it comes to a federal ban, let's be honest with the American people and say it will take 60 Senate votes. It will take a majority of the House. So in order to do that, let's find consensus. Can't we all agree that we should ban late-term abortions? Can't we all agree that we should encourage adoptions? Can't we all agree that doctors and nurses who don't believe in abortion shouldn't have to perform them? Can't we all agree that contraception should be available? And can't we all agree that we are not going to put a woman in jail or give her the death penalty if she gets an abortion? Let's treat this like a respectful issue that it is and humanize the situation and stop demonizing the situation. So can't we all agree that we don't want late-term abortions? Can't we all agree that we should encourage adoptions and good quality adoptions? Can't we all agree that doctors and nurses who don't believe in abortion shouldn't have to perform them? Can't we all agree that contraception should be accessible? And can't we all agree that no state law should tell a woman who's had an abortion that she's going to go to jail or get the death penalty? Let's start there. Stop demonizing this issue. We have to humanize it. So where can we agree? We can agree, let's stop late-term abortions. Let's make sure that if doctors and nurses don't believe in abortion, they shouldn't have to perform them. Let's encourage more adoptions and make sure our children in foster care feel love. Let's make sure contraception is accessible. And let's say that if a woman has an abortion, she shouldn't go to jail or get the death penalty. Let's start there. And instead of demonizing the issue, let's humanize the issue.
Oh, what the heck? Did you mess up, comparison group guy? You just played the same clip 3 times. No, I didn't. I played you 3 different clips. One came from a Fox News debate. Another one came from, it looked like some kind of a town hall she did. I don't know where it was, but it was put up by USA Today. And the last one was an interview with CBS Sunday Mornings. So she gives the same exact answer on the abortion issue, which is fine, because that's what politicians do. They have their stump speech and they have their answers to certain questions. But when it's a little bit too rehearsed, when it's a little bit too exact like that, it makes me wonder, okay, is this what she really believes? Is this how she really feels? Or is that her position? I found that with Nikki Haley throughout every clip I look for her. Every clip, just about. It was a rehearsed, it was a exact, it was a almost performative answer to questions. So on her, I don't know where she stands. I don't know if what she's saying is how she really feels or if it's the answers that she's prepared and she's rehearsed. The one big thing about her I saw recently is it appeared she's trying to jump to the right of DeSantis on the whole LGBTQ issue. You know, she has been a vocal opponent to trans issues in school, discussing trans issues in schools, trans athletes. She's been a vocal opponent of those sorts of things. And when asked about it, she said that Ron DeSantis, governor of Florida, his quote unquote "don't say gay" bill didn't go far enough. So I don't know where that's going to help her in a general election if she becomes the candidate. I do not think those things are going to help Ron DeSantis in a general election. No one seems to think those things are going to help Ron DeSantis in a general election. So I don't know why Nikki Haley would think they would help her in a general election. Might help you in a Republican primary, but not a general election. That's it. Let's move on to Ron DeSantis. I'm hoping I'm giving you just a little taste of these people, but I'm realizing if I really tried to go in depth on them, it would just be too long. Let's wait. Let's wait and see who's really going to be the picks, and then we can talk, more fully about them. All right. So Ron DeSantis, governor of Florida, 45 years old, 5'8" tall, 5'11" with the heels. Let's see what his website says. Native Floridian with blue collar roots. worked his way through Yale University, where he was captain of the varsity baseball team, graduated with honors from Harvard Law School, where he earned a commission in the U.S. Navy as a JAG officer. During his active duty service, Ron deployed to Iraq in support of the SEAL mission in Fallujah. All right, I'm gonna let that go. His military decorations include the Bronze Star Medal for meritorious service and the Iraq Campaign Medal. Ron also served as prosecutor in Florida, where he put child predators behind bars. He was elected to Congress in 2012 on a platform of government accountability. In 2018, Ron DeSantis was elected the 46th governor of Florida. As governor, he has fought for what's right and taken the arrows for the people he represents. Stood up against the lockdowns and mandates during the pandemic, even when it wasn't popular. Governor DeSantis has enacted a bold agenda to transform Florida into a blueprint for the nation's revival. Some of the things he says he has done: he saved people's livelihoods from job-killing lockdowns and vaccine mandates, protected citizens from harmful impacts of Biden's border crisis, defended parental rights and eliminating CRT, critical race theory, waging war on woke power grabs and central bank digital currency, turning Florida into a model for election integrity, protecting the unborn, standing up for the Second Amendment by making Florida a constitutional carry state, expanding educational freedom, lowering prescription drug costs, creating a universal school choice, delivering record-breaking tax relief, appointing 7 conservative judges to the Florida Supreme Court, and so much more. More. So that's Ron DeSantis' website. I'm not going to play any clips of Ron DeSantis. Look, I got to start to shorten this. If you listen to this show, chances are you know something. You're smarter than the average bear. You know pretty much what's going on out there. You know pretty much who these people are to some degree. Okay? So let's just be honest here. Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley are playing for second place against Trump. That's the fact. Why? 2 reasons. 2 very important reasons I'm going to give you. Number one, I think most people know. Electability. People in the Republican Party or people who don't want Joe Biden feel like Donald Trump is the most electable person against Joe Biden. He has the most likely chance to beat Joe Biden. And don't call him crazy, because the polls would seem to be saying the same thing. If you take a look at the polls, take a look at Trump's lead in some swing states, or how he's neck and neck with Joe Biden. So it's about electability. The second thing they look at is something that not a lot of people talk about. I've talked about for a while: the joy factor. You cannot discount the joy factor. What's the joy factor? Think about, close your eyes. If you despise Donald Trump, you hate Donald Trump, you want more than anything to see Donald Trump go to jail. Close your eyes and picture Donald Trump, wrist handcuffed behind him, ankles shackled, so he's got to take those little tiny baby steps, in an orange, ill-fitting prison jumpsuit, hair all tousled, tanning spray running down his face because he's crying, being led into prison. How much joy would that give you? Now, think about the people who hate Joe Biden, hate you for liking Joe Biden, and love Donald Trump. Think how much joy they would get seeing Donald Trump walk up the steps of the White House to take it back from Joe Biden. Seeing Joe Biden sitting dejected behind Donald Trump as Donald Trump gives his second inauguration speech. All the former presidents there, Clinton and Obama, and Hillary's got to sit there again. She's got to show up for Donald Trump's second inauguration. Think of the joy. That's what it's all about. I told you this before. When it came to Obama, they thought they were going to get some joy out of that, because the joy is always greater when you imagine it than in reality. They felt there was going to be that tremendous joy when Trump took the White House from Obama. Meanwhile, Obama looked like he couldn't wait to get out of there. Trump looked mad that he won. Obama looked thrilled to leave. So the joy is never what you imagine it to be, but that is what is driving some people to support Donald Trump. is that joy that they're imagining they're going to feel if he wins again. It cannot be discounted. Please don't discount it. What do my Trump supporting friends say? They can't stand fat boy Chris Christie, hate him. They kind of sort of like Tim Scott, but they knew he couldn't beat Biden. They knew he wasn't going to get the nomination over Trump, but they didn't have a problem with Tim Scott. They've cooled off on Ramaswamy, cooled off completely on him. I don't even think they know Asa Hutchinson is running. They don't want Nikki Haley. They don't have a problem with Nikki Haley, but they definitely do not want Nikki Haley. But they would vote for DeSantis if DeSantis was the choice. If for some reason, Donald Trump is not the guy, they'll vote for DeSantis. DeSantis just has to seize the opportunity. But I just saw DeSantis asked on Morning Joe, hey, how come Donald Trump is leading you so much in the polls? How come you can't close that gap? And DeSantis' answer was, well, because he got indicted and then he's in court. Now, if your answer why you can't beat your opponent is, well, because he's in court, because he's facing jail time, that's why I can't beat him, that actually helped him, there's something wrong there. All over the place. There's something wrong with why Donald Trump gets so much support every time he gets in trouble. But there's something wrong with why we don't have any Republicans who don't know how to capitalize on Donald Trump's problems. So Ron DeSantis, he could get the vote. According to my Trump supporting friends, he could get their vote. They would even go for a Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis ticket with Nikki Haley as vice president. It's weird. They really don't want Nikki Haley as president, but they take her as vice president. They have no problem with that. So it's there and available for DeSantis and Haley to defeat Trump, but they just can't seem to figure out how to do it. I'm going to move on. Obviously, the biggest knock against Joe Biden is his age. So let's listen to some clips of Joe Biden addressing the issue of his age.
I tell you, I can't relax. My kid drives me nuts. The other day I told him, I says, you're young, you don't have it upstairs. He told me I'm old, I don't have it downstairs. I told my wife I'm going to die in bed. She said, again? I'm at the age now, if I hear someone goes both ways, I figure it's number one and number two. The last birthday cake, I couldn't blow out the candles. The heat drove me back. Tough to get girls, tough. I tell you, John. They're the best thing to be is bisexual. Then you got a shot at everything. I'm not kidding you, I'm getting old. Yeah. I know I'm getting old. Well, my last birthday cake looked like a prairie fire.
So Joe Biden's older. He's an older gentleman. We all know this. I said it before. I said it many episodes ago. You want to deal with it, Joe? Get feisty. That's all. Just get feisty. First of all, fire all your advisors. Every last advisor you got, fire them today. Get rid of them. If I see you tweet one more time about this Bidenomics, about the economy's doing great and we're coming back and grocery prices are coming down and gas prices are coming down. If I see you tweet that one more time, Joe Biden, oh, I swear, fire your advisors. No, but the Bidenomics, it is working. It's just not working for everybody. Okay, well, who's it not working for? Well, it's not working for struggling families. And it's not working for the single mothers out there working 3 jobs. And it's not working for the young people. And it's not working for the old people, the seniors. It's not working for the college students, you understand? It's not working for the blue-collar workers. It's not working for them. It's not working for the folks over there in Appalachia. It's not working for the small business owners. It's not working for the big business airlines. It's not working for white people. It's not working for black people. Who's it working for? Who's it working for? Bidenomics is working. It's just not working for anybody. Okay, who's it working for? The 0.00001%? Stop it with that, Joe, please. Stop it with you think you're going to win by talking about this great economic message that nobody knows is so great. They just need to hear about it. You just need to get out there and tell them about it. Stop with that nonsense. This is what you do. I'm your advisor for free. I'm going to do it for you for free for the next several months. No charge. This is what you do. You basically just keep saying our economy is currently going through a correction due to a once-in-a-century pandemic. As we go through this correction, some people are going to feel some pain. But with steady leadership and the hard work of the American people, we will get through it. And I, Joe Biden, represent that steady leadership. That's it. That's all you say. I don't care what they ask you. That's all you say. For the next several months, that's all you say. I, Joe Biden, offer that steady leadership. When you get up in the morning, you look in the mirror and you say, I, Joe Biden, offer steady leadership. That's all you say until you get to a debate against whoever. Let's assume it's going to be Trump. Let's assume it's going to be Trump. You get to that first debate. Now it's time to take the gloves off. In the very beginning, they say, gentlemen, you now have, gentleman or lady, who knows who it's going to be, you now have 45 seconds for an opening statement. You don't use your opening statement to look into the camera and go, folks, America is at an inflection point in our history. The very soul of our democracy is at stake. It's like my daddy used to say, no. You use your 45 seconds to turn to Donald Trump and you say, Donald, look at me. Look at me. You hear me? If you say my son who passed away from cancer, Bo's name once tonight, I'm coming over there and I'm knocking the plaque off your teeth. You understand me? And the audience will go crazy. Did you? Oh my God! Everything will just erupt. Twitter will be on fire. All social media on fire. Oh, turn to the debate. Turn to the debate. Did you see what Biden just said? Everybody will be going nuts. And you go, no. I'm serious. If you mention my son, Bo, or my wife who passed away, I'm coming over there and I'm smacking that spray tan off you. That's what you say, Joe Biden. You want to get over this issue of your age. Now, Trump's crazy, so you never know how he's going to react. So you always, let people in on what you're going to do so that they hold you back because you don't want to get knocked out on national TV. You also don't want to trip and fall on your way over trying to get to Trump. So if for some reason he goes, I'm going to say his name, you have some people who you've told ahead of time, look, rush on the stage. I'm going to start walking towards Trump. You rush up, you grab me, you hold me back. That's what you do. Will people talk about anything else? You really think policy discussion matters in a debate with Donald Trump? Seriously? You really think that's how you're going to beat Donald Trump in an election, by being better informed on policy with him? No, that's what you do. That's my advice to you, Joe Biden. Free of charge. After that debate, you go right back to telling people, steady leadership, steady leadership, steady leadership. I represent steady leadership. Didn't you just threaten Trump in a debate? Yes, ignore that. Steady leadership, steady leadership. You'll be just fine. You'll be just fine. That's it. That's all I got to say. Now, in fairness, I got to play some clips of Donald Trump, and then I'll tell you who I'm going to vote for. So let's hear from Donald Trump. Oh, by the way, I should tell you, I'm not just suggesting that to Biden do that at the debate just out of the clear blue. There are conspiracies about his son and his late wife, if you are not aware. Oh, yeah. There are people who go there. There are people who go there on that stuff, and they encourage Donald Trump to bring it up. They have done it in the past. There are conspiracies that Joe met Jill while his wife was in the hospital, and the accident isn't the way that Joe says the accident happened, and his son didn't really die from cancer. Oh, there are some pretty horrible conspiracies out there. So I'm not just suggesting that Biden say, hey, you better not bring that stuff up just out of the blue. It's been suggested. I've heard it on conservative radio. It's been suggested that Donald Trump bring that stuff up to Joe Biden's face, just so you know, if you're not aware. All right? Let's listen to Donald Trump.
All right, so let's get started. Right now, we have our reporters. We have the so many reporters. We've got so great reporters right here. Do we have questions out of the gate? We do. Lady in the back who looks like Hillary Clinton. Lady in the back.
Oh, yes, hi. Hi, it's me, Jackie Cohen.
Jackie Cohen, how are you? I love the Jewish people. You know that.
Okay.
Hanukkah's coming up, by the way. Hanukkah's coming up.
Okay. My question for you is, how do you feel about what Santos has been doing, and do you feel he should be going to prison?
Oh, George Santos. Well, I don't like George Santos because he kind of stole my act. So that's what I was very upset about George Santos. Also, he's overweight. I think that's and he's kind of, a little light in the loafers, which I'm not really crazy about. So I don't need that kind of endorsement from somebody like him. So I think it's a good thing that he's out. But it's a bad thing that we have one less Republican in the House. So I hope we can get somebody who isn't as bad as him. He's in a lot of trouble, I have to tell you. He's in a lot of trouble. Over here on this side.
Thank you,
Mr.
President.
Guy with the hat on.
Thank you,
Mr. Like Tim Pool. Yeah, let's say Kim Boo.
Mr. President, what did you think about the debate last night between Ron DeSantis and Gavin Newsom?
Excuse me, Ron DeSanctimonious and Gavin Nauseation. It was the worst thing I've ever seen. Neither one of those men can debate. I have to say, Gavin Newsom was a tiny bit better than Ron DeSanctimonious, or should I say, Ron the Backstabber. Horrible, horrible person. All he said was lie, lie, lie. It's terrible. It's terrible. That's not the way to do a debate. But my great friend Sean Hannity did a fantastic, and he looks great. He looks great. Sean Hannity looks absolutely amazing. We have a question in the back here.
Yes,
right here.
question from Vanessa T.
Vanessa T.
Sir,
Vanessa
sir,
T.
do you and Melania exchange Christmas presents, and what did she get you last year?
She got me this lovely Trump tie. It's funny, it looked a little used, but if she gives me anything, I love it, from Melania.
The fact that you have no idea whether that is the real Donald Trump or not is all I need to say about Donald Trump. That's it. That's all I need to say. The fact that you could not swear definitely whether or not that's him is all you need to know. It's not him, but it could be, couldn't it? If I told you, oh no, that's him, would you argue with me? Would you really be that surprised if I said, oh no, that was really him? That's all you need to know about whether or not he should be president. So it was comedian John D. Domenico. Very good, very funny. He has a YouTube channel. Check him out if you want. John D. Domenico, not Donald Trump. I don't need to play any clips of Donald Trump. You know who Donald Trump is at this point. If you don't, I mean, what do you want me to do? I saw someone on MSNBC say something very smart about Donald Trump. They were talking about Donald Trump mixing up Obama and the whole World War III thing. He didn't know how many world wars we had. And someone said, I'm not that worried about Donald Trump when he's confused. I'm worried about what he says when he's not confused. And so I thought that was a very good point in regards to Donald Trump. He says some really wacky things when he's not confused. And maybe we should be more worried about that in regards to him becoming president. So, all that being said, it sounds like my choice is not going to be Donald Trump. No. If you've heard this podcast before, you would have known that. I have friends who are Trump supporters. I have no problem with a lot of people. A lot of the, how many ever it was, 74 million, 78 million people who voted for Donald Trump. They have their reasons. The small minority within that group that advocate for political violence or hate speech, or obviously, I got a problem with that. But the vast majority of people who want to support Donald Trump, you do you, boo-boo. I don't get it. So I would sooner vote for a broken screen door than I would for Donald Trump. So he's out. So then who would I vote for? Who is my pick? If the election was held right now, today, who would I vote for? Who would I vote for? Assuming no one else jumps in. Right now, today, who would I vote for? Today. Herschel Walker. Who would I vote for? Dean Phillips. That would be my choice. No joke. Dean Phillips. I don't know a whole lot about Dean Phillips. Remember, we're talking about if I was to make a decision based on what I know right now in this moment today, I would vote for Dean Phillips. I really would. I can't with Biden. I just can't. I didn't expect Biden to be so detached from reality. He's detached from reality. There's a reality going on in the country right now that Biden does not seem to have a firm grip on. That's in regards to what's going on at the border, and that is not a Republican talking point. It has gotten far, far, far worse. When I hear, what's his name, Sanjay Gupta, I believe it was that I heard, say basically what Republicans have been saying for years, people know the drill at the border. They show up and they say, I'm seeking asylum. I'm seeking asylum. They know that's how to present themselves at the border, and then we got to take them in. Sanjay Gupta said that on CNN, not some Republican. Republicans have been saying it for years, and people didn't like it, thought it was racist in some way. But now you have Democrats saying, yeah, we have a problem because the people know what to do. They spend all this money on the coyotes to get them to the border, and they tell them, here's what you say when you get there. I'm seeking asylum. My life is in danger. I need you to take me in. And we do. We do. That's what we do. Alert, alert, alert. I just want to insert a quick correction here. It was actually Fareed Zakaria, not Sanjay Gupta. Fareed Zakaria. I don't usually do this. This is only the second time. I felt the need to go back into an episode to correct something, but just in case people want to fact check it, it's Fareed Zakaria, not Sanjay Gupta. You can Google or you could search on YouTube Fareed Zakaria, asylum seekers, and you'll see he's been talking about this for years. Now, back to the episode. So the border and crime in this country are two major problems that Joe Biden is detached from. These are not Republican talking points. I don't know if somebody's going to steal my catalytic converter. I don't know if I'm going to be at a store when there's a retail theft organized gang in there stealing things. I don't know if my grocery store is going to close down because of retail theft. I don't know if I'm going to get knocked in the head in my driveway in broad daylight and somebody's going to rob me. I don't know if I'm going to get robbed leaving an ATM. I don't know if I'm going to get shot walking around a track like a poor young woman did. College student. It was in Tennessee or she was from Tennessee. Forgive me, I don't remember. The young woman is just walking around a track out for a walk. She gets shot in the head by some idiot across the street shooting at a car. All the young people that I keep singing, gunned down over who knows what. We don't even know why all these young people are getting shot in some of these cities, some of these urban areas. We have no idea what's going on with this crime. And Joe Biden is completely detached from it. So I can't. Right now, today. It could change. Look, Dean Phillips isn't getting a whole lot of attention. He's getting some, but he may wilt under the pressure of running for president if he starts getting a lot of attention. Someone else could emerge. Joe Biden could take my advice. Who knows? Who knows what will happen over the next 10 months or so? That could change my mind. But if you ask me right now, today, I'm saying Dean Phillips. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not ashamed to say it. And nobody should get mad at me for saying it. Oh, you're going to hurt Biden's chances. How's that hurt Biden's chances? How does learning something about somebody else hurt Biden? Have a little confidence in Biden that he can take people on if you want him to be president. Biden's fine. I mean, just tell you, Biden's fine. Biden is consistently average. That's what he is. He's consistently average. He's not horrible. He's not great. Regardless of what people want to tell you, history make it and historic. Everything's historic now. Everything is historic. Joe Biden, the first president to go to a hot war zone. This historic trip to Israel. Joe Biden, first president to go. Didn't George Bush land on an aircraft carrier at some point? Mission accomplished, but then the mission wasn't accomplished. That wasn't a hot war zone. Close enough, wasn't it? Obama never went anywhere where there was bullets flying. So, I mean, everything is historic now with Joe Biden. But he's average. He's consistently average. And that would be fine at a different time. But I want better than average now. I want better than average. Would Dean Phillips be a better than average guy? I don't know. I have no idea. He's a young guy that appears to have a different take on things, a virtual unknown who wants to bring the country together. That sounds familiar. The Democrats had a couple of presidents just like that not that long ago. What were their names? I'll give you a hint. One was black and the other was Bill Clinton. Now, how'd they do? So I'm not going to be afraid of considering someone who's an unknown, someone who's a challenger to the guy we think we have to have. So that's my choice, Dean Phillips. Now, finally, lastly, a suggestion for people struggling with this decision. I see some conservatives out there. No, I won't vote for Trump again. I won't vote for Trump again. So you're going to vote for Biden? I can't vote for Biden. I can't do it. Well, who are you going to vote for? I haven't made up my mind yet. Huh? You haven't made What do you mean you haven't made up your mind? Those are kind of your choices. What your choices will probably be. If we're hypothetically assuming those are your choices, Biden or Trump, which one do you choose? I choose neither. What do you mean? You got to choose one or the other. No, I don't. Maybe I'll just write somebody's name in. Oh, okay. All right. So for the people struggling with this, let me make this suggestion to you. Remember, it ain't about you. We got to start to remember that in this country. It ain't about you. It ain't about how you're going to feel about the decision. It's not about whether or not you're going to be right or you're going to be wrong or you're going to feel like you were right or you're going to feel like you were wrong. It ain't about you. It's about the country. And if we recognize that and agree with that, it's about the country, then we'll recognize Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis, Dean Phillips. They're not going to make or break this country. Even Donald Trump, even Joe Biden. They're not going to make or break this country. You have people out there who I like to say, forgive me, I think a lot of them have an agenda, and their agenda is ratings or money. They want to convince you that this is a decision that will either make or break our democracy. But you've heard me say here before, we make or break our democracy. We, the citizens, not the president. We do. Barack Obama gave a fantastic speech that I put a big chunk of it in one of my episodes. And one of the things he said in that speech is how we treat each other is completely up to us. We can't control acts of violence. We can't control acts of evil. We can't control unfairness. We can't control injustice. We can't control what goes on out there. What we can control is how we treat each other. And if you think how we're treating each other is not a threat to our democracy right now, you're just not paying close enough attention. And so that's what people should be considering. That's what people should be working on. Not so much, I got to get Trump elected or I got to get Biden elected. No, we got to figure out how to fix us, how to fix our political discourse. And don't tell me it's one side or the other. And don't tell me one side is worse than the other. Because I told you, just because somebody's worse doesn't make you better. But when Paul Pelosi gets banged in the head with a hammer, I heard everybody run to Twitter and said, Nancy Pelosi said the right thing. Don't make this a false equivalency. When Steve Scalise got shot, Nancy Pelosi said the following. That's what everybody said. You know what no one said? This is what I said when Steve Scalise got shot. None of those people on Twitter telling me what Nancy Pelosi said could have told me what they said in that moment when Steve Scalise got shot. Because you know what they probably said? Serves them right. Serves them right. You reap what you sow. Just like I've heard them say when police officers have gotten shot in this country. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. When police officers have gotten ambushed and killed. Oh, there's people out there who say, well, you know, you reap what you sow. They've shot innocent black men. Okay, does that make it right? Does that make ambushing police officers right? But you know I'm not making that up. You know there are people out there who will say that. When a man and his young son and some other people blow up in a submarine, that's worth making jokes about? Just because they happen to have some money? Just because they happen to be wealthy? So if they die a horrible death in a submersible under the ocean, oh, let's make fun of them? Let's laugh at them? You think the political discourse just goes one way? Oh, no. Oh, no, it's all of us. So you make your choice. Make whatever choice you want to make for president, for senator, for House of Representatives, for governor, for mayor. Make whatever choice you want to make. Make the choice that you think is best. Best, I hope, for the country. But remember, no matter what choice you make, doesn't matter if you're always going to see the other side as the enemy that must be destroyed. Because in destroying the other side, you're going to destroy this democracy. Man, I feel like that wasn't a good episode. I feel like I left a lot out, which means it'll probably be a popular episode.
Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. Vixen and all his reindeers pulling on the reins. Bells are ringing, children singing, all is merry and bright.
Why do I feel like I hear gunshots in that song? That is interesting. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed that. Hopefully I gave you some decent information there. Not a ton of information. I mean, I guess it was a ton of information, but I don't know. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for sharing. I never know how the numbers are going to be during the holidays, but this past weekend was pretty good. Thank you. Hopefully we'll keep that going throughout the end of the year. Maybe two more episodes. We'll see. I thought I'd do one more, but I might squeeze two more in because I definitely want to do my What I Got Wrong for the Year episode. That'll probably be next. What I got wrong this year. And then we'll see if we can squeeze one more in before the end of the year. All right? So thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. Again, the numbers over the weekend were good, so somebody was sharing. I appreciate that. Keep it up. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Podbreed Network, Podcast Addict. Oh, there's a million of them. Just keep sharing. Copy and paste. I'll see you next time.
Here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. Vixen and all his reindeers pull.